Well, welcome back to the show. We're talking about the conflict in Afghanistan. I'm joined in the studio by former Afghan ambassador Omar Samad. With us too is Hassan Abbas, the former advisor to General Pervez Musharraf, and Benazir Bhutto of Pakistan. And Andrew Small with the German Marshall Fund is with us. Also with us from Beijing is Lu Yong, a researcher at Tsinghua University. Lu Yong, let me start with you this time. Afghanistan and China share a border. It's a very short border. It's about 46 miles. But how concerned is China about the insecurity of a neighboring state?
Yes, Afghanistan is China's direct neighbors, and it shares 47 miles long border. It's not very long, but I mean, generally, the whole Central Asia, it's a kind of the security situation in Central Asia would definitely have a spillover effect on China's internal security, and especially in China's Xinjiang province. And China has been worried about the influence of three forces, that is terrorism and separatism and religious extremism, on the influence of these three forces in China's internal security. And this is why China is very concerned about the security now in Central Asia, in Afghanistan, because China wants stability and development in the region. And also stability is the most important factor for the development in the region and China as well. And I mean, China now sees...
Go ahead.
Yes, and China now sees that economic development is as a very important means to start to stabilize the regions. However, we have to do from two sides. One is to continue with economic development assistance. On the other one hand, we have also mediating to bring peace and stability, to bring peoples, to bring different parties come to the negotiation tables and to talk and to find a solution and to foster peace process in Afghanistan.
Right. And I want to get back to something that Hassan was talking about earlier on, and that is the number of United States troops in the country. President Obama pulled a number of those troops out. Was there too much of a focus on pulling out troops on the part of the United States to satisfy domestic political concerns, rather than looking at the bigger strategic picture of what was going on there?
Well, the problem in the first instance was that you had the surge announced simultaneously with a drawdown, which, of course, defeated part of the point of the surge in the first place. Of course, towards the end of the administration, and partly born out of some of the hopes for the new government in Afghanistan, for the peace talks, and concerns, I think particularly after what happened in Iraq, where there was, of course, the comprehensive drawdown, there was in the end a willingness to retain, I think, a higher level of troops than had been the intention for at the political level in the administration. Where I think they would have liked to wrap up his 2 terms by saying that they had fully ended the 2 wars and pulled all of the troops out. I think what went on with ISIS was one of the factors that gave cause for additional pause on their part, but also a sense that if there was a sort of heightened commitment to holding the government together, that there was actually some prospect of an end to the conflict. But yes, for the most part, I think the charge is fair that there was, rather than making the sort of open-ended commitments that might have conjoined with a more serious political strategy, instead it was clear to U.S. opponents that it was going to be a matter of sitting them out.
Ambassador, if we look at a map of Afghanistan, does the government, the National Unity Government in Kabul, have control over the whole country?
It has control over all the provincial capitals. It has control over the majority of the provinces. Afghanistan, looking at the topography, even in the days of peace and stability, the government had sometimes difficulties controlling all districts and all villages and localities. It's not an easy country to
as Hassan pointed out, the Taliban are entrenched in certain parts of the
let me get to
countries.
that entrenchment.
Yeah.
The Taliban are not as entrenched as Hassan would like them to be. The Taliban have their sanctuaries in Pakistan. The Chief of Army Staff today assured President Ghani in his conversation that there are no more sanctuaries. This is very good news because until just a couple of years ago, they said there are no sanctuaries whatsoever. But now they're admitting there used to be sanctuaries. And they have taken care of them somehow. And President Ghani's answer was, well, the culprits and those who masterminded the attacks a few days ago on Afghanistan are all walking around in those sanctuaries in Pakistan. We have intelligence that shows that that's the case. Now, I don't know what intelligence shows or not. What I'm saying is that Afghans overwhelmingly, including in those areas where the Taliban are entrenched, do not like the way that the Taliban are tied to the ISI in Pakistan. They consider them as it was said earlier, as a client or as a proxy. And Afghanistan is not a place where you should wage your war against another opponent, whether it's India or anybody else. Why should you use another country, my country and other people's countries, to wage your war against somebody else? Or for them to wage war through us against Pakistan, or whoever that may be. So we need to start at that level. We can talk all about the economy and how we can shape things. If we don't get to the bottom of this and say that we can no longer use terrorist proxies in order to further some strategic or foreign policy or security policy objective, we are going to end up in the mess that we are today, and it's not going to help Pakistan or anybody else.
Okay, Hassan, you want to respond to that?
Yes, I mean, one thing I would like for Taliban to be totally decimated. So I think I heard you wrong when you said if I would like them to be entrenched. What I'm saying is, for Taliban, I think the reality is, and this is the same with FARC in Colombia, this is the same with Boko Haram, this is the same with all the terrorist groups which get support from outside. There's no doubt about it. I think there are still, today there are sanctuaries in Pakistan of Afghan Taliban. I have absolutely no doubt about it.
Right.
However, what I'm saying is there's a vacuum in Afghanistan because of corruption, incompetence, cohesion, lack of coordination, poor investment and support from outsiders as well. Russia and China waited it out. They saw US kind of dwindling. So the reality is we have to help Kabul strengthen through rule of law, through their own revenue system, and then Taliban will be thrown out.
Okay, Ambassador, I've just got about 15 seconds left. There's a new administration coming in.
Yes.
Do you expect things to change for the better?
I think all of us, wherever our roots are waiting to see how this new administration is going to think outside the box. In my opinion, I hope that they think clearly and realistically. Okay, we're going to have to leave it there. Thanks to all of you for joining us. That's it for this edition of The Heat. Thanks for being with us.